NAR membership is going to go from about 1.6 million members, biggest trade association in the country. I'll project. This is me just projecting. This is me guessing. This is me setting a Vegas money line here. I've got the under of 800,000. This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 292 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
All right, we're
not done yet.
We're not done. Let's recap last week real quick.
So much to go over.
Go back, and obviously that pod did really well. Go back and listen to it if you haven't done so. You can do it even after this pod if you want to catch up, but I'll recap real quick if you didn't get to listen to it. We talked about the Redfin leadership letter early last week. To NAR, National Association of Realtors, and their decision for leaving NAR. Number one reason was NAR policies require a fee for buyer agent compensation on every listing.
Right.
We're going to get into that now. All of a sudden, that world has completely opened up.
Completely opened up.
Number two, NAR's pattern of sexual harassment. Those were Redfin's reasons. Made a lot of headlines, obviously, last week. Did Glenn Kelman, CEO of Redfin. He made more headlines. He was on Fox Business. It was a very active week for him.
Because it was also, like, I think NAR was only losing, like, $1 million over, like, the course of the next 20 years, too. It wasn't...
They did... Yeah, they didn't do a lot. It wasn't
a huge hit, but...
Yeah, it was $13 million since 2017.
But it clearly paved the way for others because now there's more following.
So... Just to go back real quick on these Redfin agents, some of them aren't allowed to leave NAR. So company policy is if you're able to, as an agent, leave NAR, do it now.
Yes.
We're out on NAR as a company. But some, like if you were in this state that we're sitting in, for example, Connecticut, you wouldn't be able to do it because you would lose MLS.
There's some major cities. I think it was New York, Boston. There were a lot.
We're going to talk about RE/MAX later. And... You know, RE/MAX now with their settlement, we're going to get into that, what that all means. There are a lot of RE/MAX agents that now could leave, but can't because they might be in Bright MLS or they might be in an MLS or a local trade association that blocks them from doing so. All right, so the first big shoe to drop after the Redfin news last week was NAR has now changed its stance on allowing listings with $0 buyer commission. So they did a little flip-flop here. They've been adamant on this for years.
Yeah, that it can't be zero.
All of a sudden, Redfin announces this on Monday, and within hours.
Hours, really.
Couple days.
It was days, but I like hours better. It's more
48
dramatic.
hours.
Yeah.
You had to add up days and hours. Within hours, they flip-flop and change their mind. Now they're allowing listings with $0 buyer compensation. Obviously, that's fine. I mean, you should be allowed to do that.
Sure.
Of course you should. You know, it's up to the seller. I don't think it's a great business plan, a lot of cases for the seller to offer up a goose egg. But the ability to offer whatever you want, you should be able to do that. And so now NAR has changed its commission rule. You know, here's what NAR is failing at. Being a leader. They have shown no ability to do such.
They're reacting. Everything right now is just reaction.
They're the biggest reactionary association I've ever seen. Oh, Redfin says they're leaving because of this? Okay, we'll change it now to zero. Everything that they do is after the fact. Go back to the sexual harassment. Everything is reactionary.
Well, and again, I'd like to think that Redfin had probably already had the conversation with NAR prior to it going public that this was their concern or this is what they wanted. And again, and like you just said, just very much like the sexual harassment. As soon as it got public and was in front of everybody, that's when they then changed their mind and reacted.
Yeah.
What are you looking for? Are you on X again?
No, I'm on Twitter X. I was looking for one of my.
Yeah, I always figure whenever you fall into holes, it's always to X.
It was one of my tweets about this. Anyways, yeah.
You should start screenshotting so you have them.
I know, so I have them available. They 100% do this. It's like, oh, if everybody finds out about our mistakes, then we'll react in a way. Okay, so now the trial. The Sitzer Burnett commission trial.
Is going on.
It goes on trial October 16th. So what is that, Monday maybe?
Right. We're
at the 10th here,
Yeah.
Recording this. So it's in 6 days anyways. It'll be interesting to see if NAR reacts, if NAR reacts before the 16th, like Remax, like Anywhere has.
Right.
And when I mean react, I mean do what they did and settle. Okay, so now we have details from the Anywhere and Remax settlement. We'll go through these details. I actually have a letter from Remax that went out to all of the agents.
Love it.
And I can get into the specifics there on what that letter, that internal letter from Remax to agents says. Anywhere and Remax now will no longer require any of their brokerages or agents to belong to NAR or adhere to NAR's Code of Ethics or MLS handbook, among other changes. Okay, so that is to me the biggest move here. These commission lawsuits, the two big class action ones, they want to make change for consumers.
Right.
Everything in here, the biggest changes are actually impacting the industry,
Right.
not the consumer.
Of
These
course.
consumers are going to walk away with no money and all of that.
Well, I think the attorneys are going to be making all the money.
So here's Anywhere's 83.5 million details. They will prohibit company-owned brokerages and their affiliated agents from claiming buyer agent services are free. Thankfully. The only loser agents did that anyway.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And on video too.
And on video. You actually saw people do that on video in the
On
past.
video.
Okay, so at this point, it should be quite clear and obvious, especially since in a post-2019 world when these class action lawsuits came out, or the initial lawsuits rather came out before they were named class action.
Yep.
It should have been pretty much obvious that you don't claim your buyer agent services are free. If it wasn't obvious before that, this is really pathetic salesmanship if that's something that you're doing anyway.
Yeah.
Way to devalue yourself.
Right.
Number two, Anywhere will require company-owned brokerages and their affiliated agents to include the listing broker's offer of comp for prospective buyers agents as soon as possible in each active listing, consistent with MLS rules and or capabilities of third-party website operators. That's really already a thing.
I was starting to think, like, do you have to put that on like a Facebook post?
No, I don't think these IDX sites, but that's already something that has been changed in most MLSs.
Yeah.
And it's really not a huge shift for consumers. It's not like, oh, wow, this is really changing the game for my house search.
Well, I mean, whether they're gonna be like, oh no, I'm not gonna look at that house because my agent's gonna get paid too much.
Yeah,
I mean, all they're caring about them is themselves.
How often have you
getting
even been
the
asked
house.
that question?
Never.
Right.
Never.
Not in a home search.
No.
Anywhere will prohibit company-owned brokerages and their affiliated agents from using any technology or manual methods to sort listings of offers by compensation unless requested by the agent. These are really
client. Yeah,
by the
weird.
client. These are really small changes that aren't. Here's a quote in Housing Wire from Steve Murray.
People must have had some really bad, like, this is Anywhere. So
these are like changing rules for like less than 0.5% of situations.
So these people had really bad, like, experiences
Really bad.
with their agents.
And so you had a bad few apples, and that's absolutely going to happen.
Right.
And now
so a client must have thought that he bought a house because his agent was going to make more money, so he made him buy the house.
Yeah, and maybe that's happened a little bit, but I think on the grand scale, the more you blow that up, you're going to get into more conspiracy theories than not.
I know. We're really good at conspiracy theories, though, in this day and age.
Steve Murray, the co-founder of Real Trends Consulting. Get the most out of our content at BAM by joining BAMX. You can use code REALWORD to get 10% off of BAMX today. Like our YouTube accountability group, all of our courses, live streams, and direct access to our BAM creators in our Facebook group. You also get our daily downloads from the hot sheet every single day. Join BAMX by using code REALWORD to get 10% off today. Said none of these changes come as a major surprise. He also said, Nicole, that the industry, so get ready industry, should breathe a sigh of relief. The terms changing practices are reasonable and doable without huge changes to the practices of real estate professionals, Murray wrote in an email. These terms tend towards a focus on more transparency for consumers. Check, that's good.
Right.
Rather than wholesale changes to how the market operates. I'd agree with that. I mean, I'm waiting for these settlement, and I was very, I was not negative. I was very critical of Anywhere and Remax for settling before everybody else. It's like, hey, you're leaving KW to hold the bag. You're leaving BHHS to hold the bag. Where are you, NAR? You're supposed to be the leader. Lead the charge. Show the brokerages a great deal. And I'm like, because I don't know what deal Anywhere made. I don't know what deal Remax made. But no wonder they ran to secure the bag before everybody else. The deal is great. Our buddy Notorious ROB.
I love him.
Said the $55 million is laughably small, talking about the Remax $55 million settlement, $83.5 million obviously for Anywhere. I mean, I'm sure the plaintiff lawyers will claim the court that it was the best they could do based on Remax financials, just as they did with the Anywhere settlement, Han wrote. But Remax itself literally says, we'll pay cash. Like, hey, 55 mil, no problem. We got the cash. We'll pay it up. So he's saying this is really small. It's not that significant. Still, the biggest bag to come is going to be from NAR.
Right.
And is NAR going to sell off some of their assets? Are they going to lower, employee comp? Are they going to stop paying Havas Marketing Group a gross $46 million to do absolutely nothing but produce bad commercials?
This can turn into a drinking game.
Are they going to put an assessment on all their members?
Right.
How would you feel about a $600 assessment?
Can you imagine? It's like having to buy a condo and you never wanted one.
Have you ever been in that situation
where they put an assessment on me? No, God, no. Thank God.
All right. So some interesting quotes from Steve Murray, our buddy Notorious ROB. We did a pod with him here on The Real World recently. You can go check that out. All right.
Well, it'll be interesting, though, because if you are talking about an assessment, it's like, how do you even establish that if all of these companies are not even requiring their, like,
that's right,
that
Nicole.
Assessment is how do you can't even quantify that if you don't even know who's going to be part of
big
NAR
issue
anymore.
Here's the big issue for NAR. We're not required at Remax. We're not required at Anywhere brokerages now. Just saying we as them, we're not them, but you get what I'm saying. So these brokerages are not requiring NAR membership. When Keller Williams settles and when BHHS settles, do you think that is going to be in their settlement? Absolutely.
For sure.
So now you've got 4 of the major brokerages.
What a great recruiting thing you got now, right? Come to us. You don't have to pay the assessment.
Right.
You don't have to pay the NAR.
So over the next 12 to 24 months, NAR membership is going to go from about 1.6 million members, biggest trade association in the country. I'll project. This is me just projecting. This is me guessing. This is me setting a Vegas money line here. I've got the under of 800,000. More than half of members will leave, unless they pull some rabbit out of the hat and show some real value.
So you're thinking if your state or your MLS allows you to go,
and that's the problem.
Most will go.
We're going to see how MLSs react now.
Right.
Do MLSs want to hold themselves maybe in contempt versus these settlements? I'm not saying that, maybe they could get sued. Okay.
Right.
Are they going to not kind of follow suit with what the settlement says so that they don't get sued at a later time? It'd be interesting to see how these MLSs play ball. They've been in the back pocket of NAR for a long, long time.
Well, and I guess I think the bottom line here is, and again, we've been saying it for years now. I mean, I feel like 292 episodes that NAR has yet to show their value. So it's not like
that's how most consumers feel.
Yeah, so that's why most people aren't like, oh yeah, I'll stay.
By the way, we've partnered with 1000 Watt.
That's exciting.
To do a survey.
Yes.
About how you feel about NAR. Hey, Lee, if we can make sure that that's linked up in the pod today, I'd love for the Real World audience to take that survey. It's going to close out this week.
Is it based on like after the lawsuit or like how you felt about it like all along?
These are not specifically after lawsuit. Okay. These are very much value.
Do you just pay because you have to?
Very specific questions on
take part in the rally on Capitol
very
Hill.
Specific questions, and you can take it if you're a member or non-member. Your relation from an industry professional with NAR.
How
We're
are you
going to
getting
release some of that
people?
data.
Do we know what's
Oh
happening?
yeah, I mean, last survey we did with 1,000 watt, we had well over 1,000. That's kind of the benchmark. When you do a survey, you want over 1,000.
Great.
So we'll definitely get over 1,000 on this one. Again, we'll share that data with everybody.
I love it.
So when I'm projecting out, I think membership drops significantly.
Half.
My other big takeaway on this
Yes.
is going to be the companies, whether you're MLS, whether you're Lockbox, whether you're a legacy media company that I can think of that has woven their subscription into local members' dues without people even realizing
You're not
it.
even dropping names? That's so unlike you.
I don't want to be that mean
Yeah.
because what I'm about to say is the reality over the next 12 to 24 months. Those companies that their business model is attached to, I make money because it's secretly hidden in your local board / NAR dues, are absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
The next 12 to 24 months, they're going to go through massive layoffs.
Yeah.
They're going to go through extreme disruption in their business.
Right.
And you're already seeing some of those companies that have their business model attached to the tie-in of NAR scramble right now and beg for organic business. Well, if for decades you haven't been able to build organic business yourself, if you haven't been able to generate real leads, and you've relied on your friendship relationship with NAR, how are you going to shift and pivot and do that now?
Yeah.
You've shown no ability to do so in the past. So very vulnerable. Any company that has hitched their wagon to NAR in a world over the next 12 to 24 months. When I say 12 to 24, it's going to take time for, I think we just re-upped, right? It's going to take time for people who just re-upped to be able to have the opportunity to get out, because there's not going to be reimbursements made. Okay, let's go ahead and make that assumption.
Nope.
Let me go to RE/MAX exact language that they sent to their agents. I have the letter. This is broker owner FAQ settlement agreement in class action lawsuit dated October the 5th. Internal RE/MAX use only. We're not RE/MAX, but we have access to letter. Okay. So they go through what has happened. RE/MAX agreed to pay $55 million and change certain business practices. We went through all of that. Why did RE/MAX LLC do this? This is a business decision that brings certainty. This is quote unquote out of their internal use document.
Only.
Brings certainty to what has been an uncertain situation by starting on the path to a nationwide settlement that releases all U.S. RE/MAX affiliates, RE/MAX LLCs, protecting U.S. franchisees and agents from further claims in these lawsuits and others like them. So when you think, why did RE/MAX, why did Anywhere do this? That's the reason.
They want out. They want to be done. Don't ever bother us again.
And according to Notorious ROB, for short cash. And I agree, $55 million to get out, short cash for them. Is this an admission of wrongdoing in any way? What do you think RE/MAX's answer was?
Obviously, no.
N-O, period.
No.
RE/MAX LLC continues to deny the allegations made in the two lawsuits and similar actions. This settlement is in no way an admission of wrongdoing or support for the validity of the claims. What does this mean for RE/MAX owners, agents, brokers? If the settlement is approved, RE/MAX, its affiliates, franchise agents will be protected by any claims connected to lawsuit and similar claims. When is the court's final decision expected?
Oh.
That's a good question. It will be effective following an appeals process, if applicable. At this time, final approval is expected sometime next year. So sometime in 2024.
Okay.
We'll get, much more content to come.
We love it. Keep it coming.
What are the conditions?
You know what we should do? We should. I wonder if they're letting people into the, that's what we should do.
No, this isn't going to be like the Johnny Depp case. I know you want it to be, but this is not,
we can make memes and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get in. Maybe sometimes, like if you look at Barstool, when
where is it? Where is the? Do we know where it actually is? It? I'm assuming it's,
the appeals.
No. Like on the 16th. Can we go to that? Let's go to that. one.
Where is the sit? Well, that one is the Missouri one, right? So
I mean,
but it is now a federal.
I'm assuming we could probably go, right? Don't they let the public in?
That is the Sitzer Burnett. Where is?
I mean, I might have some time on my hands.
I have no time. I'd love to.
I could use your headset, your sports headset, and I can come in live.
Where is that located? Where Sitzer? Well, this is District of Missouri. I would assume it's going to be United States District Court, Western District of Missouri.
Missouri.
Circuit A office location.
I mean,
Kansas
Missouri
City.
it's a little warmer there.
I think it's going to be
right?
in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have no interest in Missouri.
Okay.
But I'd love some clips. Barstool, when Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool, was sued by Michael Rappaport.
Okay.
For, I think it was like defamation. So they were going through their sitting with attorneys.
I love it.
All those videos got released like a year later. So there is a time period, I think, when some of these videos can get released.
You get on Mr. Johnny and you just it's live.
Yeah. Well, that was fascinating.
Live, it was really fascinating.
So, okay, the conditions about business price, we went over that. What does this mean for RE/MAX and NAR? The settlement agreement removes RE/MAX LLC's requirement regarding NAR membership and gives franchisees the choice.
Oh, so the franchisee gets to decide.
They can decide for themselves what's right for their brokerage and agents. Now, if you're associated with Bright MLS right now, you got no choice. You're tied in. Whether the franchisee wants to get out or not, that would, giving up MLS access for you and your agents would be
stupid.
A death clock.
Yeah.
Will current NAR membership requirements outlined in the franchise agreement be enforced? No, they won't. Does RE/MAX still support buyer brokerage and cooperative compensation? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Will services be cut or will fees be raised? Because RE/MAX agents pay fees.
Yes.
As a result to the $55 million payment. They intend to use available cash to pay the settlement amount, and there should be no impact on services.
Good.
Also, no fee increase is planned in connection with the settlement amount. That said, RE/MAX will continue its normal course of analyzing the business on an annual basis and adjusting the fee structure as deemed appropriate.
So it's coming.
It's coming. Or could be coming. $55 million is a big number to swallow, even for RE/MAX. What will happen to the $55 million? It will disappear out of RE/MAX bank account. That's what will happen. If approved, it will become part of the settlement fund to be distributed to consumer class members, pay the plaintiffs' attorney fees. So they should have put that first. Pay the attorneys.
And then whatever's
crumbs,
left. Yeah.
They'll get dispersed out.
They'll get like an $8 check.
Exactly. $8.50 in the mail. There you go. Way to go. If the court does not approve the settlement, the funds are returned to RE/MAX along with accrued interest. No actions that any RE/MAX brokers or agents should take immediately. Just, get educated on some of those business practices.
Yeah.
Settlement agreement available to read. They can access the document via their internal source. What happens in the next lawsuits? They continue without RE/MAX being among the defendants because they have now dropped out with this proposed settlement. And then this was approved by the board of directors at RE/MAX.
I mean, it looks like RE/MAX agreed to a few more things. So I would definitely encourage you guys to check the Now BAM site if you want to see what theirs, because we just kind of went over the anywheres. We didn't go through these RE/MAX ones, but they're all on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're very similar.
They are. I mean, again, it's really all about transparency.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's really all it looks like.
Which is what everybody wants. I mean,
of course. What's the big deal?
Consumers have wanted transparency for a long time. It's why Zillow built the biggest brand. Zillow didn't build the biggest brand because brokers didn't stop them, which is what some people believe. Zillow built the biggest brand because consumers were seeking more.
Right.
Because consumers trusted a brand that was giving them access.
Right.
And
Past sales, estimates.
And guess what?
Walkability.
One of the reasons I'm projecting NAR's membership to drop significantly now with Agent Choice is they will go to where they feel like they have a more transparent environment, a more inclusive association,
right.
One that brings value back immediate to them based on the value that they're giving or donating or paying.
Oh, you should start like the Now BAM Association.
Oh, we have heavy thought. Let me know in the comments if you think that would be a good thing.
We're
having very much one of two things is going to happen.
We made T-shirts 2 weeks ago. Now we're gonna.
You either have fragmented associations across, or someone somehow will step up and rethink the way a umbrella association should live. Think Live Golf versus PGA.
Yeah.
PGA for a year said, we're not going to do any of these changes that are better for consumers.
Yeah.
And in 12 months, the Saudi money said, shut up,
Yeah.
PGA. We're going to eat you if you don't comply.
Yeah.
So that can be a little bit more
Bye-bye,
controversial
PGA.
than this.
Yeah.
But you could see a scenario where you live golf, the NAR, where you make NAR, do some dramatic changes, or you just go out and compete.
Right.
And that changes the playing field as well. So I think there's going to be a lot of interesting
There's going to be lots
moves here over
happening.
the next
Now's
12,
the time
24
to
months.
be in it.
Yeah, now is the time for all of this stuff. You're seeing not only this in the industry change significantly, but also with the market dynamics of the next couple of years. Interesting times for sure. Let us know what you
sure.
think down below. If you want to get the most out of BAM, join BAMX, use code REALWORD to get 10% off of the community there. We have a business planning webinar tomorrow.
I signed
if
up
you're
for
seeing
it.
this on day one, you're coming in? Good.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do an after party BAMX as well. And we'll see you guys next week on The Real Word.
See you guys.
Keep it real.